Our industry is multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme.
Right. So now you guys have built a multi-million-dollar business. What building this business here in the US taught you about the power of opportunity?
This country gives you the opportunity to start at zero and really build whatever you want.
Think about all the excuses people make on their day-to-day of like why they don't want to start something or why they don't want to leave their current position.
Most people want to see instant results. If you're not hungry, find a way, make a way, and be hungry.
Well, Lou, welcome to an episode of the Pink Print Podcast. We're so excited to have you. Lou Urdaneta is an entrepreneur. She's part of the founding family of MONAT. She currently stands as the Chief Culture Officer there and is the CEO of MONAT's Gratitude portion, which we will definitely tap into and talk lots about.
Yes.
I'm really excited for this episode. I think there's lots of things that I personally relate to with you, so I think that it will resonate with a lot of the women who listen.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I feel like we are, at a happy hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Just missing the martini, but
I know, we've got water.
We've got water, but
I know.
I'm ready to talk about.
We could have a coffee, but right now is not the.
We can, but I want to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So let's dive in. We wanted to talk about a lot of things, but number one that honestly came to mind is what is something people don't know about building a culture, a community, a company in a new country?
Talk a little bit about how you guys left your country. You had to come here really looking after, I would say, and I know you've said this, the American dream.
Yeah.
So really tap into that.
When I was driving here, I was thinking about a concept or an idea for a reel because I have to go back home and keep working after this, right? And it's already 7 p.m., I think. And I was thinking, so many people want like the stage time and film a podcast or the recognition. And I know like we all are most of the time thinking about the reward, but what most people don't see and are not showing on social media is like the hard work and the intentionality that it takes to actually build something. And in our case, I've been living here in Miami it's going to be 15 years this year. And my two older brothers, they came here, I would say, I think it's 30 years ago. And then my dad around 17 years ago. So we're a mixed family. It's one dad and 3 different moms. So when I came here, we still had a company in Venezuela, very successful company in a small country. It's not a small country, but if you compare it to the US, right? Like Venezuela is, a 30 million. Well, now a lot of people have left, but it's a 30 million population, and we got to sell $200 million in 1 year there with our company there.
Wow.
And it was a very successful company, but we had to shut that down because of economic and political reasons. In 2010, we were getting into 2012, and then we said, okay, we've been wanting to go after the American dream for so long. It's been forever a conversation in my family, like since I can't remember. And, we are an entrepreneurial family since forever. Like my dad has been doing this for 40 plus years. We've been talking about, okay, let's go to America. Like let's build a new brand and a new name and a new community there. So that's in that transition when we had to close the company in Venezuela and in Latin America, because the company was in other countries as well. We said, okay, maybe this is the time, right? Like endings are also beginnings, and maybe this is a time for us to start something new instead of bringing the brand and the products to this market. Let's just start something new. And what it takes is, I think, a lot of intentional work. Strategies as well. I feel like something we did at the very beginning is if we wanted to go after the Anglo market, even though we're Latinos, right? And it's pretty obvious, like I have a very clear accent. My brothers have a very clear accent, and my father does not speak English. He speaks only Spanish. He understands only Spanish. So all of the time on stage or on camera, he has a translator. He has someone translating for him back and forth, right?
I was gonna say he's in Miami.
He's in Miami,
but
for the day-to-day is not a problem.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for the business, you know,
But like that's such an easy barrier for somebody who's moving country to country in their business to be like, it's never gonna work. Like I don't even speak the language. Like that's like a pretty good reason to be afraid. And like think about all the excuses people make on their day to day of like why they don't want to start something or why they don't want to leave their current position. And like look at your family, like what you've built, and that's like the hardest thing to possibly overcome. I think.
Yes, that's something that I really admire of my father. There are many things I admire because obviously he's my dad. He's also my boss, my leader, my mentor, as a family. He's like this patriarch. And I admire many things. But one thing is that he has not allowed the language to be a barrier. Even though we had that limitation, we were like, okay, we want to try to penetrate this market. Like, how do we do it? And I think we found a good company at that time, at that season, right? Like we were able to hire good consultants, good staff at first. And again, we were able to self-fund our company because we had this other previous company. And I'm very grateful for my dad and my brother who were leading, everything at the time. And we were able financially to do this. So yeah, I think we found the right people. We hired a couple of Canadian and American staff members, and I think they really guided us. And again, I want to say we were very intentional with the strategy and the conversations and how we wanted to do this. And I also think it was one of my brothers, he doesn't like that I say this, but I also think that it was, and I believe this, and you guys know, from a spiritual place, I think like stars aligned because we did like many different efforts in that soft launch and launch, like hard launch time season, which was July to October 2014. And we started happening in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Like no specific reason, not that the staff that we hired knew someone there or connected us to someone there. No, that everything came through Facebook at the time, through social media. And I feel like it was God's plan that it was going to happen that way, because the Latin market came many years later. I would say like 4 or 5 years after we started is when we started happening in the Hispanic market in the US.
Wow. So now you guys have built a multi-million-dollar business. What has building this business here in the US taught you about the power of opportunity and seizing these opportunities?
I think that this country is such an amazing country, and I feel like we have missed that point over the last few years with so much conversation happening around what's good or right for the country. And like there is like these extremes conversations happening all the time that I feel like we have missed a point, which is this country gives you the opportunity to start at zero and really build whatever you want. Is it easy? No. But I don't think it's easy anywhere, you know? So I think opportunity and seizing the opportunity is just so key. You need to be prepared. I don't think you need to be ready, because you're never ready, but you need to be prepared to take the opportunity when it's in front of you. You need to be willing, right? Like maybe you're not ready and you're not prepared, but I'm willing to do the work. And for us, it's been 10 years already. It's going to be 11 years this year of, and I'm not saying this lightly, non-stop strategic work and smart, like we finding smarter ways and finding ways to adapt to the constant change of the market and change of the country and change of the world, because globalization has affected every single industry. But being willing to do the work and being willing to jump into the opportunity when it's in front of you is just so important.
Yeah, I just think that was an interesting perspective to touch upon, because you did have to unfortunately close businesses in your home country and come here. And sometimes I think that people don't realize that we have it really good here.
Yeah.
And we really do have the freedom and the possibility to achieve so much.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to see so many people come here and do it. So I just thought it was like nice to.
Yeah. And I mean, people that listen to our podcast know we're both first generation Americans. So like both of our families came here the same, in a similar point. They had to leave their countries and build something from scratch. And I think that that's why we have a specific viewpoint on it and like such a gratitude and like, I don't know. It's crazy grit. Like I don't see it very often anymore. Like even with myself and like, I think we work very hard, but not, I don't think in the same way that our parents.
No, we definitely don't even have their same struggles, like the language barrier or having to start everything from scratch because we already grew up here.
Yeah.
But I just think that people maybe who are here lose sight of like what we really have.
Yeah.
We get lost in these conversations.
We're just reminded every day. It's like we complain to our parents one day, well, you didn't escape communism. Like I get it. And
Well, the other day I was having lunch with my fiance and I were having lunch with friends and we were talking about this actually. And I love that my fiance said like, I feel such a huge responsibility to the effort and sacrifices that my parents did to come here from Panama to Ohio when they were 35 years old with 3 kids, not knowing the language. Like he was saying like how amazed he is more now more than ever because now he understands he has a kid, he's 40 years old. So it's like, how did they even like dare to do this, you know, like it's incredible. And he was talking about this responsibility that he has to them. And I thought, I mean, all of our parents, you know, if you think about where they were and where we are, it's like a quantic jump, you know, like it's complete change of timelines, of frequencies, you know, like there is absolutely no way of explaining different than that. Like when they decided to leave their countries and their comfort to come and create a whole new reality for their family, for us, I think, we have a big responsibility.
Like imagine you just picking up and going to like Italy right now.
No, China.
Or me thinking.
That's what I always say. Imagine me moving to China right now. Because that's the same thing as my dad moving from Sicily or Cuba, like my mom from Cuba to here. Like you don't speak the language, you don't even understand the culture. The list goes on. But anyway, let's dive into the meat, because how do you possibly work with your dad and your brothers? Because I worked with my dad for like 6 months and I said goodbye. And my brother. Oh my God, both of them.
And I have a different perspective. I do work with my mom and not that it's like always so easy. I think she's definitely like very tough. But also, like you said, like a very great mentor. And we do work well together. And then I see other family dynamics and other people, and like you definitely can't. So it's kind of like it works or it doesn't.
And you're working with all men, which is also just a whole other thing.
I don't know.
What's the secret sauce to working with the family?
I think that...
Well, what do you think is the best part of working with your family? And then what do you think are some of the challenges?
And I think this is where magic happens, right? Like, I didn't think about it too much, honestly, until recently, right? I grew up in this environment looking up to my 2 brothers who are older than me and to my father. And I'm also like, I'm the youngest. Not anymore, actually. One of my younger sisters is now joining us in the company and being super active. So now I'm not going to be the only girl, which is great, at the table, right? Because it was usually like the 3 of them and me. And now I'm going to have a girl next to me, kind of like seeing through my lenses. So, and hopefully supporting my ideas. I'll be supporting hers. But I think that I didn't think too much about it. I grew up in this environment, being the young one, being the girl, being the rebel one as well, and being the artistic one. So yes, I mean, there has been a lot of, how do I say this, like adaptability and like learning in the journey. But I now, like as an adult, when I look back, I think there are so many things that I'm grateful for and that I love, that I've learned from them. For instance, I think resilience. I think my father and my brothers are so resilient, like, and so focused when it comes to what they are going after and what they have to do on a daily basis. Very structured, very hungry, the three of them, very committed. Very committed to what the work that they have to do in order to get the results that they want. And I think that I am very, very grateful to have learned that, because as a woman and as an artist at heart, because I grew up acting, dancing, theater, doing all of the things. And as you can imagine, I'm the creative one. Like, I'm the marketing person, the gratitude culture, all of the things that are, on that side of the table. I learned a lot of the structure from them. So I'm very grateful for that. What I love the most is that we get to spend a lot of time together, and that we have found a way to respect each other's talents, spaces as well. Thank God, we are all very unique in what we do. That's amazing, because we all get to have our own little area, let's say. My father and my older brother have been very great leaders at setting up the right boundaries, I think. Drawing a line that is so hard to draw, from being your boss and also being your dad or your brother. And I think my other older brother and me have, so much respect and for each other, like, we don't yell at each other, we don't fight, like, I don't know, like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Like, I see them and I'm like, whoa, like that must feel good from like a comfort standpoint with family, that you can like just fight like that and then just come back. But we really don't do that. I think because also we are a mixed family. Right. Like, we just respect each other's spaces very well. I feel like with my little sister that now is joining the team, I have more of that. Like, we can be a little bit more emotional in that sense. And of course, we're girls. But among the four of us, it's just there's so much respect. And I love that. I love that we get to spend time together and we get to respect each other's spaces a lot.
I think that's probably one of the most important things when working with family is respect. I think a lot of people and boundaries. So people like lose it a little bit and then maybe they start to argue and then it just like rolls into a big ball and then it's just kind of like a big mess.
Yeah. And
you need to have boundaries on like when you're talking about it. Are you bringing it home? Are you not bringing it home? There's certain moments or when you're on certain people, like we're not talking about work. The respect, I think, is really huge. A lot of the things that you mentioned that you learned from your brothers are obviously great qualities. And to me, they sound very masculine, committed, focused. I'm like, they can only do one thing at a time.
Yes, totally.
How have you, by being surrounded by men, not become more into your masculine energy? And how do you still balance that with your feminine? Because something that I see a lot is, especially in business and especially when you're dealing with men, you need to step up to the plate. You need to speak more firm. You need to be less feminine, more masculine. And then a problem that at least I personally have is like, then I go home to my husband and I still bring home this masculine energy. And I'm like, oh crap, I need to like tune this down. I need to turn the feminine on. I need to like cook and just like, you know what I mean? I need to do something that's going to tap into my creative.
Yeah.
Because if I come home and I'm just going to be like, having the same attitude that I have during the day, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
How have you learned to balance that? Are you balancing that?
Yeah.
You work with 3 men.
Yes.
So it's a lot.
Yes. I think it's a never ending process. For me, it's like spiritual work,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
spiritual work.
So we always say
never ends. Like when you heal something, then you go into the next thing. And it's like, you're going to be 70, hopefully 80, and you're still going to be working on something. So I think this balance for me definitely was not aware of it throughout my 20s. And I was really like working so hard all the time and probably lost a little bit of my feminine side throughout my 20s. Now going into my mid 30s, I've been working very, very intentionally on it. And I think a big part for me is to embrace who I am within the dynamic of my family, and especially working together. It's taken me so long to be able to say I'm the woman and I'm here for a reason. I'm not here to try to be like my brothers or like my father. I'm here to bring to the table what a woman would bring to the table, right? From that place, and being kind but firm.
There's power in what you bring, being who you are.
Absolutely. And there is power in my perspective that most of the time, I see things I don't see, right? Or I sense things that they don't sense. Actually, my father is very connected to his feminine energy because his intuition is usually very much on point. So I get to bring that to the table now from a much more intentional place. And I also allow myself to create more now. I feel like throughout my 20s, I learned a lot of structure, focus, trying to be on time, because that's my never ending thing. Trying to be on time and managing all of the things, but also learning how to stay on track with all the projects. I feel like I learned that, and now I'm almost unlearning many of the things, unlearning and allowing myself to step more into creativity and nurturing and stepping into my power, which is honestly more than anything connect with people, being out there, being with our women. We have more than 140,000 market partners globally. We have so many people that sell our products. We have what we call gratitude ambassadors, which is a group of around 50 people that basically champion our MONAT Gratitude Foundation efforts also around the world, most of them women. And I get now in this season to embrace more of that part, but I think you need to be so conscious of who you are, and you need to get to know yourself so much. To your question, how do you balance it? You need to just get so real to your with yourself, and you need to get so much you need to be an expert of you, so you can actually unplug. Because it happens to me all the time. I get home and I still do everything. I'm not just, entertaining people and hosting.
Yeah.
I do a lot of admin work, and I have, a very crazy agenda and schedule, and I have finance meetings, and I have operation meetings. I have all of it, but I feel like I also step back and look at what are the things that I can control today, and I go into them, and things that I cannot control, the things that I can delegate, the things that I can talk to my brothers or my dad about, then, I kind of let that go in that sense, which I used to not let go. I feel like I was so, I am a very competitive person, but I was so committed to, I need to learn everything. I need to know about everything. I need to, I was almost measuring myself with the same way that I was measuring my dad and my brother's capabilities or performance. And then I learned, oh wait, it's if I am I'm an important part of the body, if they are the arms, I'm the legs, if they arm the head, I'm the
you're the heart.
I'm the heart.
Yeah.
Or I'm the whole spine, we complement each other, and I need to be able to be fully me and let them be fully them, so I can balance things out.
Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
I agree. And I think we were talking about this at the center the other week with Raheli. She was telling us about this book, The Keys to the Kingdom.
Yes.
And we were talking about, I can hear my fiance, he's right out that door and I'm about to shit on him. But we were talking about how, how sometimes we're just so easy to shit on men. If we tell them to do something and then we come back in 8 hours and it's not done yet, it's well, why didn't you do that?
Yes.
And it's because we're trying to compare them to the perfect woman, and we're calling them an imperfect man because they're not like us and they wouldn't do things the way we would do them. Mm-hmm. And it's almost very similar what you're saying. You're kind of at first were picturing yourself as like the imperfect man in this scenario,
Right.
until you stepped in to realize like, I'm not actually any of what you guys are, and I'm my own person, and I'm going to allow my strengths to shine. So I just thought that was interesting.
No, it's so
I wanted to compare it that way because
Yes.
it made sense in my head when she was saying like, we're calling men imperfect women.
Yeah.
But that's not what they are. They are just men, and we are women.
Yeah.
But I love what you're saying about like, you have to be the expert of you. Do you have any like tips or tools or things you do that have like brought you back to your home, like your body, your mind?
Yes, for sure. I mean, definitely practicing gratitude.
What does that look like for you?
Honestly, it changes, but I think on a daily basis, I try my best to literally wake up and say thank you. I do it in not a very, it's not like a fancy way. I don't do anything other than literally like I open my eyes and I try to go, God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you that I woke up. Thank you that I have, an amazing partner. Thank you that I have this house. Thank you that I have my health. And then from there, I actually wake up. So I almost do it half asleep.
Like in bed?
Most of the time. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, like I'm half asleep. Like I'm still not completely awake. And I try to do it. I don't do it every single day.
Yeah.
But most of the time I do it. For me, it looks like journaling. Again, don't do it every single day, but do it every week for sure. Sometimes every day, depending on the season. But I don't have like a specific like 3 things you're grateful for, or like I fill up a page. Like I write what is on my head and I try
I
to
love that.
make it on a positive way.
Like a mind dump.
It's like yes, definitely. That I read on a book that is called The Artist's Way, and the author, I forgot her name. She's amazing. She helps you with this exercise. It's basically like a mind dump, like your brain dump, where I try to do it in the mornings, and I'm just like writing and saying thank you. And then I think you train your brain to be grateful. Like the same way you train your body, you need to be intentional with training your brain to stay in this like grateful or gratitude frequency. And for me, it has been, part of my job also the last 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am not perfect at it, but I definitely can see how now my brain is so trained to go into what's good on the situation, almost in a very unusual way. But when I'm going through challenges, or like we have hate coming at us, which happens to every successful person on earth, I think, or like there is like a big challenge in the company or whatever, is funny because my brain goes into like gratitude mode first. Then I go into like, okay, what do we need to do, right? What's the action plan? But I think this is scientific, like the brain, you train your brain, right? And I think the little things day after day after day compounds. So now I'm at a place in my life where I can tell you, like, I'm very proud of, the work that I've been doing for so long, because I can see how even like when I'm in a deep emotional place, like we're women.
Yes.
Like our nervous system, and women that have been trained to work hard, especially in this country, from immigrant parents, like our nervous system is a mess. Like our hormones are, like leading the way. And we have these crazy high standards and high, like our parents left their countries and came here. What are we doing?
Right.
Like we have this expectation of we need to do something with our lives. Like I have to deal with a lot of that constantly. Like I'm a Pisces, and I embrace it. You know, like every month there is an episode where I have to like take myself out of a place of a lot of emotions and like doubts and self-doubt and what am I doing with my life. And I think that I'm very grateful for that. Like my brain is ready to, okay, let's just go into what's good. So that's how it looks for me, I think. And I don't know, just doing little things every day, like every day realizing that we're like, oh my God, like I'm so lucky, you know, like I'm in this amazing office, or like my house is so pretty. Like I want more, yes, but what I have right now, it's amazing. And Kabbalah has obviously, impacted the last 12 years of my life in such a huge way in that specific matter, like when it comes to gratitude.
Totally. And just to go off of what you said, we'd love to know what tools you use to really get to know yourself.
Well, you need to spend time doing that, right? You need to not avoid doing that. And I feel like a lot of people avoid looking in and their emotions and looking back and reflecting. Yes. You need to find a way to realize, oh, I'm just distracting myself. Maybe it's with a drink, maybe it's, with a smoke, maybe you're smoking something, you're drinking something, or you're going out, you're partying.
You're doing all the above.
Or you're doing all the above, or you're like traveling all the time, or you're just like filling up your time with things that are distracting you. Like we all do that, right? And I think that, at least for me, it's been so long, so many years of self-discovery and like a lot of self-work, that the only thing that I can tell you is you need to spend time doing it, and you need to be patient, and you need to have a lot of grace with yourself and your process. It's taken me, I don't know, like 15 years to come to a place where I can say, I know who I am. Like, I know who I am. And not from this place of, I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
No. Like, not from that place, but from a place of, I know Lou. I know the Lou that is not that good, that is not that grateful, that is actually super ungrateful and pampered little child that still needs, love from her parents, or, she's still making a tantrum for something that happened when she was 8, and she didn't get that. Like, I know that Lou, I have that Lou, it lives inside of me, and I've developed a good relationship with that Lou. And when that Lou is on, I know she's on, I can almost see myself and be like, okay, I understand this is where you are, but I'm the adult and I'm going to control the situation. It's not you. But again, it's taking me so long. And I feel like most people want to see instant results,
Yes.
like, especially like, and you guys are younger than me, like, especially when you're like 20, 25, like you feel like, oh, like, I don't have enough time, or like, when is this gonna happen, or like, when am I gonna overcome this thing that I do every time I get mad?
I think that's being in Kabbalah makes you so aware, which is what we always talk about. And her and I are always saying that. Like, I was on the phone with her today saying something, and I was like, and I know that's my work to do. It's just like, it never ends, but it's something that honestly, like, I'm grateful that I am aware of it now. And like you're saying, like, getting to know yourself in these tools, because it was so easy before to blame everybody else and not take accountability. And although like sometimes I don't react the way I want to be reacting.
Yeah, I'm still quite reactive.
Yeah,
but I try.
I'm not perfect over here at all. But at least I know, like, okay, like, this isn't this person's fault. It's just like something that I need to work on. So at least like what's in front of you, because your emotions and what triggers you and why. Yeah. So I like that you said that.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, girls. Hang on there. Like, I am super reactive. I'm a very reactive person that has done so much work on, and like, again, 10 years or maybe more, 15 years of very intentional spiritual and psychology work. Like, I've done a lot of therapy. Like, it's so many things. I cannot even maybe put them into words right now, in this like episode, but so many different therapies and things, and work with God, and like church and church groups and Bible reads, and like, so many things that it's gonna take time, and you just need to stay committed to that work. Yeah. Same way as you're committed to maybe the gym, right? Because you want to be toned and you want your arms to look in a certain way, like, or you want whatever you want in life that that takes consistency. Yeah. Same thing is with knowing yourself. It's just it takes consistency, and it takes what I call the compound effect. Like, it takes a lot of years of little things and little shifts. Yeah. Until one day you're like, oh, I didn't react to that anymore. Good. Yeah. Like, Yes, and maybe you fall back and you're like, oh, but it's easier to just start, say redirecting your emotions with time, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And like not live in that guilt and that like punishment that like if you fall back and you're going to be like, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. And like I feel like before the spiritual work, it's so easy to continue the blame and continue the punishment, which just like drives you insane and sets you back even more.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about MONAT.
Yes.
Which I love the meaning of the name, which I just found out before this.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the meaning of the name, and then we
Yes.
can go into a little other thing.
We named MONAT after two words, modern and nature. Combined the words, and that's how the name was born. It's nice because in Spanish means the same, moderno, natural. And for us, it was when we were putting together the concept of MONAT, we thought, actually at the beginning we called it Project USA, because it was our USA project. And for us, like for a year, it was like Project USA. And we hired agencies to pitch us names. And we had really good pitches. Actually, like with one of them, we were almost gonna go. But then we were like, no, we're not really sold. And it was actually me and a great friend called Anna, who was our creative director at the time, and our my amazing friend called Frances, who actually still works in the company. She was at the very beginning, the very first hire of MONAT as a company. And Frances actually brought me to Kabbalah.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So she's very special, has a very special place in my heart. We locked ourselves into this conference room. We said, we're going to create a name. We're going to come up with a name today, because we were going to launch in like, I don't know, a month. And we had everything, the packaging, everything except the name. And we had all of these words written in the walls. And we went with modern nature, MONAT. And I'm very, very proud because we wanted to combine modern techniques. We own our manufacturing plant. So that is a big part of the modern side of the name. We are always working with like the latest formulation trends and the latest ingredients and the latest regulations and all of these things. But we also wanted to stay as natural as possible. So we use most of our ingredients are naturally sourced. And that's how the name came to life.
Can you explain what you sell in case nobody knows?
Yes. So we are mainly hair care company, also have skincare and wellness products, actually skincare makeup products as well,
God.
which is basically skincare infused makeup. And we sell amazing shampoos and amazing scalp serums that help your hair grow. And we, just a little bit of a background in the company, we have been in the market for almost 11 years and 12 different countries now, our biggest market being the US, but we recently launched Germany, Belgium, and those markets are going crazy. Australia, France, like many markets outside of the US are going crazy, which is amazing. But yeah, we sell hair care.
Amazing. And I really want to talk about like the structure and the model of the business, like where you sell, how you sell it. You mentioned you have 140,000 distributors? Yes.
We call it MONAT Market Partners.
Yes. And I told Lou right before we started that when I was in college, and this was in either 2018 or 2019, so almost
like recently.
I mean, like 6
years ago. Whatever.
I know.
It's like halfway through the company's life. Like, I had one of my best friends, her name is also Kat, and she lived right next to me, and we would always go to SoulCycle. And the SoulCycle instructor was a distributor or a person at the top who was selling, and she wanted a team under her.
Okay.
And she got my friend Kat to join, and then my friend Kat got my other best friend Marissa to join. So then they were the two girls selling in our sorority, and the whole sorority bought from it.
I love that.
And it was so much fun. But then when we met you, Gio was telling me, and I was like, what do you mean, like MONAT? Like I used that in college. Like that's so funny.
Yes.
So talk about this like marketing strategy, because I'm actually like really curious. And I remember when we were in college, people were like, oh, Kat Markman joined a pyramid pyramid scheme. Like, this can't be real. Like, this can't be. So I want you to clear the air and tell everybody how it works.
Absolutely. So our industry is multi-level marketing, and very, like, AKA pyramid scheme.
Right.
Because I think this is a fame, or like a perception that it's actually coming from our moms and our grandmoms and our aunts. Is that how you say?
Yeah. Aunts.
And you know, like, everyone that sold Herbalife, Amway, and Avon, you know, 80s, 90s, it's coming, like, it's almost like grandfathered.
Yeah.
You know, like this perception of, like, multi-level being a pyramid scheme. I feel like at the very beginning, the industry, as any industry, like, made a lot of mistakes, like, as a whole, and overpromised a lot of things, and made a lot of people very rich, but not everyone,
right?
You know, so, like, then a lot of people are still hurt from that, you know, like, oh, my mom sold this and that's a lie, and I'm never gonna join a multi-level marketing company. But my story is different with multi-level marketing, because my dad joined Tupperware. I don't know if you guys have heard about Tupperware. It's like the toppers.
Yeah. No,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. That's a multi-level marketing company. One of the first ones. And my dad joined that company when he was 18 in Venezuela. My dad didn't finish high school because he's a rebel. and he needed a job because my brother Ray, my older brother, who is the CEO of MONAT, was born out of, you know, not a planned, you know, it was not a part of the plan, but he was born and he didn't have a job. He hadn't finished high school. He had always been very entrepreneurial. So he had, like, a lot of little jobs since he was, like, 12. But when he was 18, he joined Tupperware, and he changed his life. Basically, you know, he became a millionaire in Maracaibo, from where we are, Venezuela. Before he was 21, you know, by the time he was 25, he had this incredible mansion in, you know, the best neighborhood in Maracaibo. And by the time he was 30, he retired.
Wow.
Well, network marketing is another way to call it, from multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
And, you know, from there, obviously, like, it's a huge story, long story. But what I'm saying is, my relationship with this industry comes from that place, from the place that my dad had absolutely nothing, comes from a very not humble, like, poor family. And he was able to, you know, create this amazing wealth for himself and his family in this industry, you know. So that's what I can tell about this industry. That's my story. That's my relationship with it. That's my truth.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That is not a marketing strategy. It's just how the business works. Basically, for you to sell MONAT, you need to become a distributor. For you to buy MONAT, you need to buy from a distributor. And I love this industry for many reasons. It's not for everyone. I think it's a simple way to do business. It's very simple. You join, you sell, you can bring other people with you and grow a team if you want. You don't need to buy, you know, there are many people that say, oh, but you need to buy inventory every month. You are not forced, or no one demands you to do it. Now, if you want to grow a team and there are specific requirements, not that you have to buy, that's not one of the requirements. But yeah, I mean, if you want to grow in the business, you have to work and putting, you know, you know, basically work and putting the hours and putting the effort and sometimes the investment. But not sometimes, you need to start with an investment. But if you think about that, you know, like, you need to, for you to come into MONAT, you come with a very small investment, maybe $300 to become a distributor. There are different prices, there are different levels. But that's it. You have your own business if you want. If you work on having your own business, like if you put in the time.
I've seen people do it and be very successful. I know
Yeah.
people who
Me too.
who actually are distributors now
Yeah.
for MONAT and
There
love
are
it
there
and
are many
do very very well.
many amazing stories. But if you compare that with like opening your own business, which you both know about too, you also need to invest
Absolutely. Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
time.
I would
to
say
create
more,
your
maybe.
own business.
Yeah.
Much more for
Yeah.
sure. But that's how the business works. So basically, you become a distributor. You can sell, or you can bring other people, or you can have what we call VIP customers, which is preferred customers or customers that are on a recurrent order, like a monthly order, or subscribe and save, how you would know it in Amazon. And yeah, and that's how you grow. Like many girls have, thousands and thousands and thousands of girls under them. And yeah, they offer this opportunity as a life-changing opportunity because it can be. But again, it's a simple business that is not for everyone. But I don't know, we have so much fun doing it. And
No, it's amazing.
For me, like every day I see people saying like, oh, I just paid my debt. Or like with money I'm making with MONAT, paying my mortgage, because here's the thing. The big stories, the $1 million stories, are the loud stories. But most of the people in our company are making $500 to $2,000 to $5,000 a month. And they are literally paying for like maybe their kids' extra school activities,
Yeah.
like their kids' soccer, or like they're paying for their kids' shoes to go to school, And for me, those are the stories that I usually look for. Like every time I meet with our sales team, I'm like I want to know some of those stories, some of the stories of the women that are, making a difference in their home by putting groceries, on the table. Or yes, then you have the stories of the women that are retiring their husbands and having them full-time at home, which is amazing.
Really continuing the opportunities here and giving people opportunity through your business. Since you also mentioned before when we were talking that you work with, you have thousands of distributors and you work with so many salespeople and women, what do you see are some of like the key things that they're doing from a marketing perspective or sales perspective that are really making them successful?
They are consistent.
Consistency is key.
They are incredibly consistent. I admire them so much. They're on social media every day. They are meeting people in person, most of them every day, if not every week. It's like church. It's like church. A church growth is based on consistency, on meeting every Sunday, doing a small house events, prayer circles, or in VU, which is where I go. They call it cruise. Same thing. It's like same thing in our business, very similar, but consistency, a lot of consistency. These girls are, and they don't care about what the family is saying. They don't care about what their friends are saying. They don't care if people are looking at them down now because they sell shampoo. They have a goal and they're going after it. And you can see these girls, they're so hungry. These women are so incredibly hungry, and those are the traits. They are consistent. They don't care what people think, and they are hungry to a level that maybe we don't even know, because like
I'm inspired just listening to this.
I'm like,
we are so lucky. Our parents are incredible, but many of these women, have many kids. And when I say many, it's like 3, 4, 5, 6 kids and one income at home, they are hungry. They need to get their family out of this situation, and they do not stop until they do. So consistency, not caring about what people say, and just find a way to be hungry. If you're not hungry, find a way, make a way, and be hungry.
No, I love that. As the Chief Culture Officer, what do you think are key things that you focus on to build now a strong and loving community and culture within the company? And talk about the gratitude organization that you started as well.
Our company is very special. I think almost unique in that sense, because gratitude is the foundation of everything we do. And we always say it's not what we do, is who we are. And that started actually because of Kabbalah in my life. You know, I was young, and it was the first. We were creating MONAT when I started studying. And I remember when I heard like a class around gratitude and appreciation, and that combined with, you know, like my church community and like my spiritual background and my family's background on when it comes to giving, because we've also always done this, we've always had this like arm in our companies. I said, we need to create this MONAT gratitude movement within the company. At first, it was not a foundation, which is why for me is the foundation of MONAT and the foundation of our culture. It was a department. And how it started is I remember we were talking as a family, and I said, let's not define who are we going to help, or what are the pillars, or, you know, if this is going to be a 501c3 or not. Let's just start taking action and making a difference in the community, making a difference here in Miami, going volunteering, bringing our employees and going out there and actually experiencing that. And then hopefully that's going to start a movement, and our market partners are going to follow that, are going to replicate that in their cities. And I believe in grassroots efforts. I believe in starting things small and cultivating those like one-on-one relationships is what I think brings growth. And so that's how we started. I remember the first thing we did was in 2014. In October, we launched. In November, we did our first gratitude event with Salvation Army. And we basically, all the employees, which were like, we were like 12 people, we came to Salvation Army, volunteered for the day, served food, took pictures, posted. And by the time we had maybe like 600 market partners at the very beginning, and posted it on Facebook saying, hey, this is what we're doing in our community here in Miami. Tell us, what are you going to do over the holiday season? How are you going to bring gratitude to your city or your community? And I think, again, that has made MONAT very, very different, because that grew so much. We've collected and donated over $10 million now. And with the stories that you get through gratitude, like we have actually one ambassador right now in Uganda.
Wow.
She said, you know, with this, through the gratitude program, I got so inspired. I've always wanted to do this. I'm going to do it now. And she's there volunteering, making a difference in the world, thanks to the movement. Really, it's not thanks to me or my family. It's almost contagious, because it's a community thing, right? Like you get into this company, and it's like this family culture of we are doing something for the other person. We have this commitment of making a difference in the world, and we know that as we give more, we receive more. We know that is like a secret formula, and it's not perfect. And, you know, there are so many different type of people and leaders, but I am very proud to say that most of the people have this mindset and this mentality of doing something good wherever we are.
Have you seen tangible shifts in the energy of the people once they are giving more, caring more,
100%.
Sharing more?
It's crazy. It's like this like thing, it's addictive because like MONAT itself as a company gives the opportunity to women to change their lives. And you see someone that I'm going to go to Julie's house on Saturday. She just got this beautiful property in Colorado, and she's been with MONAT since the beginning for 11 years. She's made $20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, just selling shampoo. And
that's incredible. How much is a shampoo? I'm just thinking she sold a lot of products.
A lot, but she has a huge team as well. And but she's so committed to her craft. But when she came to Miami, because at the very beginning, that first month we ran a challenge and we said, oh, the best 10 are gonna come to the launch party. Julie was one of them, and Julie came, and she's talked about this for like many times, so I can say this here. Julie came to Miami with no money. She was living on a trailer with her daughter and her husband, and she didn't even have money to buy a dress. So someone from her friends that came in the trip, because they were a group, lent her a dress. And she was like, I went to Miami and I didn't know if I want to be kidnapped or what, because this was so new. And now you fast forward, and I've seen Yuli over the years change, evolved, like change her life and the life of her whole family and the life of so many people that she brought to the business. And so I'm going to see her house, her property that she bought. And so it's addictive because I see that in MONAT, but I also see that in the gratitude side. Same thing. Like, I have one story that comes to mind right away is Brittany. She joined, I think, MONAT in that season, 2017, in the season where MONAT was hot in the sororities, right? And she comes from that. Like, I think she was like a college girl, or just out of college. She's so fashionable. I'm gonna send her the podcast so she hears me shouting her out. But she's so fashionable, beautiful, like this like perfect Instagram girl, and I've seen her change, and it's not an outside thing, because she keeps being amazing and incredible on social and beautiful, but I've seen her mature. She became a gratitude ambassador. She became what we call MONAT hero. We give this award to the best leader in the company once a year that is doing work, or that is doing a social work in the world or in her community. But I've seen Brittany like become so selfless and growing her business from that place. And now she's a mom, and she got married in this whole like process. But at some point she got a bonus of $250,000 when she reached $5 million in commissions, and she decided to donate the whole amount.
Wow, that's amazing.
To start her own foundation.
I know Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't know. No, she's amazing.
Yes.
The Hawega Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, in Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
But I've seen that.
That's amazing. That you've seen
what
the whole
what
trajectory.
A movement can do.
Yes.
Like starts very small, but then it grew to a point where I see Brittany, and she's not the only one. We have had many people starting their own foundations, but also many people staying very steady and consistent when it comes to do one thing every month. One thing with like their church or their local shelter.
No, she's a hard worker, a member, and she told me about the foundation and everything, she's doing, and it's amazing.
I cannot believe what she's doing. Like, I'm always like, wow. She's taking girls to school, and it's a very difficult situation what the girls have to go through in Africa, specifically in that community. So I'm so proud. I'm so proud of Brittany, and I'm so proud that she's one of those stories that when you tell me, have you seen people change? Yes. Through the business and through the gratitude movement, 100%.
And it's a ripple effect, because like what she's doing is helping girls in Africa, like quite literally.
And the people who are seeing her in the US are inspired, and probably
I'm inspired. Me too. And then you're inspired, and then everyone's inspired, and we're all gonna go
and then the whole podcast is inspired.
Yes.
One last spirituality question, because we know we've been holding you hostage here.
No, I'm enjoying it.
But for people that feel so disconnected from themselves, from God, I mean, we hear all the time people say like, oh, my dad didn't have therapy and he's fine. Like people, that type of person.
Or I don't need to work on myself. Nothing's wrong. Or everything's fine right now. I always question that. I'm like, all right.
What would you tell a person like that? Like where to begin to reconnect to themselves and like faith and spirituality?
If they're willing and they are saying, where should I start? What is the first step? I would say start by putting aside time every week, at least like an hour a week, where you are going to find what is your way to connect with God. My recommendation, try to go to a church of your preference. Why? Well, it's the way that I connect the most, the best, I would say. If that's not your thing, maybe listen to a podcast that you guys have many recommendations. Go to Kabbalah, take a class, go to a new moon event and find what is your way to connect. I'm so respectful of this, like I think that every one of us is so unique, and that's why you need to get to know yourself and become your best friend. Like, talk to you as your best friend, the good things and the bad things, like be honest and be graceful with yourself. But you need to know yourself in order to find what is my way to connect with God. Like, what does that mean to me? Because it's not, at least for Lou, it's not just following a protocol and, praying specific things or praying a specific prayers or, being religious, I guess. For me, it's not that. I connect with God, when I'm walking by the beach,
Yes,
that's a way
in
for
nature
me to connect with God in nature. I pray when I literally do this. I pray when I run. I'm on my treadmill and I'm like literally talking to God and like trying to be very much in the moment and trying to talk to my body. So I would say put aside, like block it in your calendar, right? Like every Friday morning is going to be my time with me and God. And I'm going to start, because if let's assume the person is, like at the very, very like minus one. Yeah. I'm at 0. I don't know. I never been to church. I've never been to Kabbalah. I don't know anything. Block time in your calendar and dedicate that time to explore ways to connect with God. And ultimately, we go back to the get to know yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think as you know yourself more and more and more, you connect more with God.
We have to end this with a quick fire round, which is always fun.
It's like our favorite part.
So I know, it's so fun. So what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
When I wake up, I say thank you.
Yes. Favorite MONAT hair products?
Oh, Rejuvenate. It's an oil.
Okay. One thing you always keep in your bag?
Mints.
Oh, that's a good
and
one.
And a Sohar.
Yeah, that's
Sohar.
Gio's.
Yes, that's mine. I always have a Zohar with me.
Yeah.
Something you can't live without besides your family.
And Dad. She's like, I can live without them.
I'm like, don't give me family. Give me anything.
I don't want to say this in the podcast.
Your dog.
I was going to say sex. Say it.
That took a turn.
Yeah.
What's one word that describes your energy right now?
Peaceful.
You are very peaceful.
I'm always so relaxed.
You transmit a
talk to you.
lot of tranquil. I'm like, yeah.
That's not what my boyfriend would say, but
I think they have a different perspective of us.
Yeah.
Favorite way to recharge when you're off duty?
actually being alone
Yeah.
in bed or in my couch, just watching something that disconnects me.
Yeah. What are you watching?
I watch K-dramas, girl. I'm sorry. But it's a thing. It's a guilty pleasure. That's how you call it, right?
Yeah.
Dream travel destination that you haven't been to yet?
Japan, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
South
cool.
Korea.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Best advice you've ever gotten? I don't know how quick this is.
Best advice I've ever gotten would be get to know yourself.
Oh.
Someone told me this once and I think changed my life. Mm-hmm. When you, like, the day you become your best friend, things are going to be very, very different in your world.
Advice to your younger self?
Advice to my younger self would be to enjoy more. Like, do not overthink so much because the future is the future. It's not the now. Mm-hmm. So try to not overthink so much and plan so much and do all of these crazy like documents on how your life is going to look like. Do them, but at the same time, enjoy more.
I love that. And what's something that instantly lifts your mood?
Mm-hmm. My family, I would say.
That's nice.
Yeah. You can ask me the question again. What you cannot live. No, I don't want to put that.
And what's something you can't live without?
I can't.
Besides your family.
I can't live without my family, my dog, and good food.
Good food. Good food. Good food. And actually, we have one last question for you that we end every single episode. We always ask our guests, what's one actionable tool or tip that you can give our listeners that they can do to become the best version of themselves? We call it a little homework assignment for the week, if you will.
A homework assignment would be block time in your calendar that is dedicated to you, to get to know you, to connect with God, and use your calendar. That is a homework.
Yes.
Like, try, this is like, I live by this. Like, everything is on my calendar.
Yeah.
I have systems. I review this systems every few months. I make sure that like I have the right meetings that are following up to the different projects that I have going on, that I have intentional time with my family, intentional time with myself, intentional time with my fiance.
You were so intentional. No, it's the best way to be.
I work on that every day. It's honestly, it's not something that, it just comes to me. I'm like this. No, I've worked to get to a place where I can look at my weeks and I'm like, okay, yes, like I have a good plan. Obviously, I'm flexible, things changes, I learn how to flow. I've learned how to flow with my fiance, but that would be the homework. Like, look at how you are investing your time and make sure that you are being intentional with your time and that you have time with yourself and with God so you can grow. You can actually unblock the next level in your life.
Yeah.
Wow, what a mic drop. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to come back and I want to probably have one of these next time. You can have all do the questions.
Perfect. We love you, Lou. Thank you so much.
For coming. Ciao, bye, you guys.
Ciao, bye.
Bye.